it really helps inform you when you're playing the character. Like, oh, okay, this is why he speaks that way, and this is why he's so meticulous about certain things and his appearance and how he got the name Sir, or why he likes that name.
I'm such a big fan of Found. So first, I need to, of course, ask, what was it that drew you to the project?
I got a call from our showrunner, NKG O'Carroll, and she said, I want you to take a look at this project. Let me know what you think." And I just perused it. I looked at all the dialogue of Sir, and I saw the flashback scenes. This was for the pilot, obviously. And I saw the flashbacks, and then I saw the present at the end of that he's in this woman's basement. And I thought, wait, this is for a network show? And then I read the other parts, and I read the procedural. I just thought it was so elegantly put together. The storytelling and sort of the familiarity of a procedural that a lot of people who watch network television love, but a little bit of a twist, enough so that I think it just makes things a little bit more interesting. And I just wanted to know what would happen to these characters, and sort of became a fan of the show just by reading that one script, and thought it would be a challenge to play Sir. I didn't really know how far they were going to take the character, and sort of the outline of the flashback scenes, but I put a lot of trust into NKG, and I'm just so happy that it's all worked, and that we have an audience that seems to appreciate it as much as we love filming it.
Well, when you first got the character description for Sir, I'm curious what your initial thoughts were. Just what were you thinking when you kind of saw, wow, this is a very complex character?
Yeah, I mean, as an actor, you're always looking for a challenge, and so I was very excited about the challenge of playing that character, and then also a bit anxious because you are. I feel it's not a a normal character. There's some finesse involved, and you try to find that sort of threshold, and how far can you push it? It is, again, network, so I think if this was maybe on a streaming or a film, you could really sort of push Sir to more. I mean, he's pretty grotesque, but even further. But again, this is we have to bring audiences back every week, and I can't make him so despicable that he's completely unlikable, which would be a very easy thing to do, because I think he's quite gross, and quite despicable. But you do have to. There's a line that I'm sort of towing, to not make him so unlikable that you wouldn't want to see him anytime he comes on screen.
Well, you are also in a very interesting position because you are kind of switching back and forth between being kidnapped and kind of being the kidnapper. So how was the shift in kind of the power dynamic and going back and forth between those two moments in time?
Again, it just all goes back to the writing. That's all there. But yeah, it's a fun. It's fun for me to play. The moments where I'm with young Gabi, it's all Sir in control. And then when we switch to the present, there's this shift where he's trying to remain in control, but he's playing a chess match essentially with Gabrielle, and he thinks he's in control, but he's not at times. But I don't ever play like that. I always play like, no matter what happens in that basement, I've not planned that, but the circumstances are no matter what, it falls into where Sir would want to be. So I've never played him in the basement that he's at a disadvantage, even when it looks like he is. I don't know. That's just me.
Well, how was getting to work with both Shanola and Azaria? Because I mean, I think you're pretty much the only actor who gets to interact with both of them.
One day, all my work is with Shanola, and those are usually the basement scenes. And then my next day that I work are all with Azaria, and they're equally just forces. Amazing actors, beautiful people. Shanola is just, Shanola is one of a kind. I've never worked with an actress like her. She's just able to. She has this innate ability to just flip a switch and go from being this bright, expressive person to flipping that switch and being Gabrielle in the basement. So and she keeps things light and fun. And, our days can be long, and to have someone like her, it helps with those long days.
Well, kind of speaking on the latest episode, we actually learned a lot about Sir's past. We learned that he had kind of an abusive mother and that he used some of her tactics on Gabi. I'm curious how you feel his past kind of set everything that he did into motion.
It's tough because you watch it and you think like, oh, I see, through the abuse why Sir can do that. But I think all of us have gone, I mean, not to the extent of Sir, but some people have, and worse. But they don't take that road that Sir has done. So I think there's more to it than what we saw, possibly. I would hope so. But again, we talk about this on the show a lot, is that everybody deals with trauma differently. And we should not judge them based on the process that they're going through. So that was how Sir dealt with the trauma that he was dealing with, in his youth. Yeah, it's not how I would, but it shouldn't be justified. But unfortunately, he went in that direction. I knew from the beginning, that there was some trauma that had happened to Sir. I was speaking with MK about it, but didn't have quite the details that I had once I got the script for 109, that episode. So it really helps inform you when you're playing the character, like, oh, okay, this is why he speaks that way, and this is why he's so meticulous about certain things and his appearance and how he got the name Sir, or why he likes that name. I was exposed to it almost at the same time that an audience would be exposed. I mean, I didn't get 109 until I was filming 108. And then you're like, oh, well, here, these kind of fill in the blanks.
Well, I wanted to ask you too about kind of his relationship with Gabi. During the basement scenes, are you approaching Sir as someone who still does have love for Gabi, despite the current situation? Or, I mean, do you think he was maybe incapable of ever caring about her at all? Like, where do you stand on that relationship?
No, he absolutely adores Gabi. No, I've always played it like there's a love there for Gabi. There always has been. I think you'll see in later episodes that'll come out as well. Like, he just has this admiration for her. He just thinks she's brilliant, and this is not the ideal environment or situation for him to be in, but he can put all of that aside because he's in her presence, and he still has in his mind, a relationship with her in any capacity is really all he's looking for.
On that same note, do you think Sir understands or maybe sees some kind of sliver of justice in what Gabi is doing by making him help these people? Or where do you stand on what he's currently doing?
It's interesting. I don't play it that he's doing this to sort of cleanse himself of the bad things that he's done in the past. I've been playing it that he's helping Gabi with these cases because he wants to see her do well, and it's all more about Gabi. Like, again, I think the only selfish thing that he's doing by helping her with these cases that he just gets to be in her presence and gets to have a connection with her, and feel like he's her partner. And that's really all he wants, is just to have that sort of connection. I mean, it's weird to think that, but he wants her to do well. And it's almost, when you go back to the flashbacks, he's always teaching Gabi. He's always seems to have a lesson for everything. And even now in the present, when he's going through these cases, it's almost like he's testing her and seeing how brilliant her mind is, and wanting her to do well, and finds joy in when she solves these cases, because it just reaffirms to him how brilliant he thinks she really is.
Lastly, I know that you guys finished filming the season. So is there anything upcoming that you're excited for fans to see? Any episodes that you're looking forward to?
I think from here on out, it continues to elevate. I think if they've enjoyed the season so far, it's only going to get better. My sister is a fan of the show, and she was just asking, like, will questions be answered? And I said, I guess. I mean, I think if you had a question about Sir's past and how we kind of answer that a little bit in 109, I don't know what other questions some of the fans have, but I do know that things will escalate, and there will be some reveals that are pretty dynamic.
All right. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me today, Mark-Paul. I am definitely looking forward to what the rest of the season brings.
Thank you, Rachel.